being on air. Any other names you want to mention?
Of course, there is Maggie Ashmawi as well, Nurhan al-Milyawi. There are a couple of girls who are doing very well. The best competition, it would be the African Championship. I came in second place, and I was only one target away from first place and going to the Olympics. It was a heartbreaker, but at the same time, it was a great achievement for me. Also, in the Grand Prix in Kuwait, I did very well. I came in third place, and it was
Kuwait
very,
is a heavyweight country when it comes to shooting.
They are one of the best countries.
Or females, yes.
Yes, especially that our team, especially women, they are not free to shoot whenever they want, in the sense that we work. In other competitions or in other international teams, like in Italy and around the world, really, even Kuwait, Qatar, and so on, they are professional shooters. So they train all year long, and this is something that we don't get to do.
Let's cross our fingers that this is going to change.
I hope.
Yeah. Now, in terms of the targets themselves, I understand that there are a variety of targets, like not just the clay pigeon, but I understand there is something called crosser-driven, quartering, and other variety of targets. So have you tried other variety of targets, or you're mainly specialized in clay pigeon shooting?
I played two disciplines. I played the trap shooting, which is my discipline, and something called ZZ bird, or electro. We call it here in Egypt electro. It's different. It's like a fan, and you call for it, and it goes up, and then you have to hit it before a certain area. That's the two disciplines that I've tried before.
Suzane, the sport you are involved in needs a lot of concentration.
Yeah.
And to focus on only one thing in your mind. Some shooters told me before that when they are that frustrated, depressed, having tension, something like that, and when they go to shoot, they get out of this mood completely.
This is true.
True.
During exams, I used to go to the club.
During exams?
Yeah, and shoot a couple of targets. You just get into the zone.
Yeah.
It's your own world. Nothing else exists. And it's a great feeling.
I mean, how have you prepared yourself to be completely isolated from the surroundings and to focus only on your target while being in training courses or in championships or in competition, I mean?
I thank my karate background for everything, really, because I used to play in stadiums full of people screaming, literally screaming. So you had to just find your own place and play as if nobody exists.
Katas or comité?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. I was Egypt champion for 5 consecutive years. Yes. So when I went to shooting, my reflexes were good and fast. So that's why I made it to the national team very quick. And when it comes to shooting, really, it's about just concentrating on the target. You're not focusing on the result, or else you ruin everything. It's just you and the target. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
You against the target. Nobody else matters. And when it comes to shooting, the audiences are not that huge, unfortunately. And usually they know the rules of the competition, so they stay quiet.
Yeah.
So it's not that hard to concentrate. The hard part is to be consistent. The ability to shoot consistently throughout the day. Because you wake up around 6, you have breakfast, and then you go to the shooting range, you start to prepare, and then you start shooting around 10. And you stay there on the range till around 4 or 5. If you're shooting the final, you can stay even longer. So the fact that you stay not influenced by anything throughout these hours is the real challenge. Because you can do very well at the beginning. And this is what most people do.
Yeah.
They do very well at the beginning, and then they have this pressure, and it becomes a burden. Because like there is failure of losing, there is failure of winning.
Yes.
Yes, or this fear, sorry, of winning. You fear that, oh my God, this is the thoughts that you have. Oh my God, I'm doing very well. Then you start to feel that, oh my God, maybe I'm not going to do it. I have to concentrate more. And this way you put more pressure on yourself, which sometimes turns to be something negative.
Now, I'm quite curious about the thrust or the power that you need while holding the gun, because I understand that actually as the bullet is, as you're firing the bullet, there is a thrust for it.
And there's a recoil.
Yes, so I'm quite interested in knowing how to acquire the balance.
It's not that hard
And
again.
to hold it, is it the way you hold the gun? Is it keeping yourself steady? How is it done?
Holding a gun is different than holding a shotgun.
Yes.
Because when you hold a gun, the recoil makes you move.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and it's
This
very
is what
hard because it affects your aim.
Yes.
But with shotguns, you put it exactly in a certain place, and this is what you learn. And when you put it in the correct place, you don't feel the recoil. Maybe if you're watching somebody shooting, you would see them going a little bit back.
Yeah.
And it seems to hurt, but it doesn't really. Because it's like you're a sponge, and your body just takes the recoil in.
Absorb it.
Yes, in
Yeah.
a way, without being hurt or anything.
Great.
So once you put it correctly, everything is fine. But before that, while training, of course, you used to have bruises and it hurt a lot. But nowadays, it's
But
fine.
it comes with training. And since you
Yeah.
were an expert when it comes to karate, of course, you had a lot of injuries
Yes.
before, so shooting is
True.
much more easier.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
what about the coming championships or the tournaments you're going to participate in? And who is choosing for you? Is it you who choose or the federation?
Most of the time, it's the federation. It's not my choice.
Okay.
We have this pointing system according to which we make the national team. So I'm on the national team. So they tell us which competitions we can go to and which ones we are not allowed to go to. And again, it goes back to the budget and other things that they have to think about.
And what's
the next
nearest?
one
Yeah.
is the African Championship. It's going to be in Egypt, God willing, and it's going to be next month.
Inshallah.
Is there a particular opponent that you're worried about, that you feel that she's really good and you have to really train well or practice well?
In fact, I don't think that much about opponents, because if you think that much about other people, you don't concentrate on what you're doing. So this is the best way to fail.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
that's a very good advice to people.
Yes, exactly. I think it applies to anything in life.
Sure.
In your studies, in your work, in anything. So what I focus on is just becoming a better version of myself. Because when you do something very well, they will have to compete with you and not the other way around. So you just have to focus on yourself. Maybe here in Egypt it's a bit hard to do that because the number of shooters is not that big. So in other competitions you don't play in the same round, but here you play together every round. So you have to think about the score. It's something that you can't control. But I'm trying these days not to do that and just focus on what I'm doing.
And what are your preparations before going into any tournament? I mean, for example, do you double the exhausting hours of training, or it's your normal schedule? I mean, do you have special rituals before going to a championship or participating in a competition?
Yeah, most of the time. I work on weekdays, so I only have the weekend to train. But before a competition, I try to work to finish work and just go and train afterwards. Before a competition as well, I try to eat healthy, like a month before. Try to be on a diet, a good diet, and sleep well. This is the
Dear, you're very
most,
fit. And I was even asking myself just a few minutes ago in which kilograms category you were playing in when it comes to karate.
Yeah.
50 something?
No, 40s.
40s, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yes, being fit doesn't have to do with how you look, really. Because maybe you're slim and you look fit, but you're not. So I like to play other sports as
No,
well.
I meant, dear, that it's easier for you when you're slim.
Yes, of course it is.
Yes.
Yes. And I play duathlon. I don't know if you know the
Yeah.
sport. It's duathlon. You cycle and you run.
Yes.
And I usually compete each year in Sahl Hashish. And this year, in December, I think, I came in first place. So I enjoy
How many
really.
sports she's
She's a
doing?
multifaceted
Yeah.
athlete. I was just
Why
going
you're
to
here
ask-
I
today?
love
Just to tell us
sports.
that we should do so?
Yes.
I'm too old for this girl.
No,
Okay.
no, you're not. You're not. So
I'll be
it's
lucky if I
fun.
manage to go to the gym and she's doing all these sports. That's great. But actually, now I'm quite curious. You're doing a lot of sports, and I'm curious, why did you give up karate? Is it because of the lack of time? Is it because you got
Yes.
interested in another sport?
You have to choose at some point. I finished ثانوية عامة and I was heading to college. I only had time for one sport if I'm going to play it and give it all I have. So I had to choose between the national team, karate national team, or the shooting national team. And in karate, I gave all I have, and I was the first on Egypt for a long time. And I didn't like really that much the federation because they had these rules that didn't fit with my schedule. I had to come to Cairo. I'm from Alexandria. And I had to
Okay.
come to Cairo 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And if you're going to
Is
go
it
to
traditional
college...
karate, Suzanne?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're going to go to college and leave for 3 days every week, this will affect my studies. And I didn't want something to affect my studies. I want to be well educated and at the same time play sports. So when it came to shooting, they were more flexible. So that's why I chose shooting.
This is great. And you are a decision maker. It seems so. But I cannot deny the role of the family, the role of the coaches, if you want to mention them and their support to you.
Of course. First of all, I want to thank my family and friends. My dad and my mother, they have this huge role in my life. My dad comes with me to every training, every single training. And he has to work as well. He has a lot to do. He has a social life. But he chooses to come with me. And it started years and years ago, since I was playing karate, and till now. Even the shooting training, he attends each and every training. And he likes to watch me. And this makes a huge difference.
Sure.
Nowadays, you see parents, they just drive their children to trainings. And they think that they are doing their part. It's not about, he's not a chauffeur, he's not a driver. Okay, this is not the role of a parent. Even if you are not able to attend
Look
each
at
and
you.
every...
This is what he did.
Yes,
He's Muhammad
Muhammad
Gaber.
Yes.
Mr. Muhammad, thank you very much for what you've done. Thank you very much for all the family of Suzane, because she is such a representative of how a young lady should be.
Thank you.
Dear Suzane, thank you very much for your input and have a very
Thank you.
good day.
Thank you.
Well, and that brings us to the end of this episode of Breakfast Show. But first of all, I have to thank my colleague. Thank you very much, Nermi.
I enjoyed my time as usual, Rasha. Tomorrow is another day and we're going to be together.
Yes.
Wait for us tomorrow. Same Nile TV International. And for more details, please log on to www.nileinternational.net. Thanks for watching. This was Rasha Madi and Nermi Naftar.